Under the boughs where the shadows play, the wind hums songs at the break of day. Whispering pines, secrets untold, carrying tales only the forest holds. Moonlight spills through the velvet dark, etching patterns, leaving its mark. The roots stretch deep, the earth's gentle sigh, a lullaby sung to the open sky. Oh, whispering pines, sing me your tune, caught in the rhythm of the stars and the moon. Teach me the language of rustling leaves, stories that linger on the breath of the breeze.
So we are going to my favorite place in Bangalore, that is Church Street. I'm all set, I'm all ready. I am just going to quickly pack my things. I'll just take the necessities. Even though I'm getting super late, we have to hurry. The cab is already waiting. I'll just quickly grab my stuff. And by the way, this is my favorite tote bag that I like to carry every time I'm going out. So yeah, let's go. Leaving this baby behind is always a very hard thing to do, but honestly, he's a really good boy and he stays really calm when he's alone.
Moonlight spills through the velvet dark, etching patterns, leaving its mark. The roots stretch deep, the earth's gentle sigh, a lullaby sung to the open sky. Oh, whispering pines, sing me your tune, caught in the rhythm of the stars and the moon. Teach me the language of rustling leaves, stories that linger on the breath of the breeze. The dawn paints gold on the mountain's crown, while rivers whisper truth as they flow down. And their songs entwine with the trees that stand, knotted in time by nature's hand. Each echoing step on the forest floor opens a world through an ancient door. The silence alive, yet brimming with sound. In the arms of solitude, I am found. Oh, whispering pines, sing me your tune, caught in the rhythm of the stars. they flow down. And their songs entwine with the trees that stand, knotted in time by nature's hand. Each echoing step on the forest floor.
Hi, so I was just arranging my bookshelf and I was like, since I am already arranging it, let me do a quick bookshelf tour. I'll show you all the books that I have. Just a little disclaimer, I don't have a lot of books, and that is because I would love to have more books, but the only thing is that there is space issues in my flat. It's a 1 BHK and we don't have that much of space to store a lot of books, and I don't even have a bookshelf. I'm just waiting for that day that I can finally get my own bookshelf. Right now, what I've done is I've done a very jugadu setup. I have just used the space beneath my vanity. I've stored my books over there. So yeah, so what I've done is I've just built a very small book collection. Only the books that either I'm currently reading or the ones that I feel like I want to revisit in the future, and those are the collectibles. So I just have those books with me. And one more thing, so the thing is, the best part about Bangalore is there is this bookshop called Blossom Book House, where you can actually go and give away your old books, and they will give you a 50% coupon. Like for example, if I'm giving away a book of like worth 500 rupees, they will give me a coupon of 250 rupees. So that with that 250 rupees I can buy my next book. So it's really helpful. If you're on a budget, then it helps you a lot, because that's what I also do, and that is the reason I don't have a lot of books, because what I do is I read it, and if I feel that I'm not going to read it again, I just go to Blossom and exchange it for a new book. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get started with the books. So the first book that I want to talk about is one of my favorite books. Like, this is a book that I don't know, even if I'm not going to read it again, I really want to have it in my collection. So the book that I'm talking about is this. It's a stationery shop of Tehran. I loved this book. I read this book I think 1 or 2 months ago, and I was literally crying. No other book in the recent past has actually touched my heart so much that I actually start crying. So this is a really good book. I'm not going to give you a review or anything. I'm not going to explain each and every book, because otherwise this video will become too long. But I'm just going to tell you if I've read the book, if I've liked it, by like saying yes or no. This is a highly recommended book. You should definitely go and get it. Now the next book that I want to talk about is the book that I have had in my collection since quite long. I mean, I think not that long. What I mean to say is I have had this in my collection since past, I think, 2-3 months, but I don't know, I haven't reached out to this book. So the book that I'm talking about is the very famous Murakami book, Norwegian Wood. I don't know. So basically, I really wanted to read this book, and I kept searching for this book in every bookstore, and it was out of stock. And then once I found it, I don't feel like reading it. I don't know how to explain this, but I don't mean to say that I'm never going to read it. Maybe I will read it in future, but right now I'm not in the mood for this kind of a book. So yeah, I'm just holding on to it. I'm just keeping it in my collection. So the day comes when I really want to read it, I have it with me. The next book that I want to talk about is again one of my favorite books. So the books that I'm saying that they are one of my favorites are the ones that I really highly recommend you to go and grab, because those are the books that really touched my heart, and the books that you cannot put down. So those kind of books. So the next book that I'm talking about is She and Her Cat. This was such an unexpected purchase. I mean, I usually, as I told you, I go to Blossom Book House and I usually exchange my old books for new ones. But this one time I was in the mall, I was just I went to, I think, one of the crossword bookstores, and I was just skimming through books, and randomly I just came across this book. And what attracted me towards this book was definitely the cover. If you see, the cover is so damn pretty. I mean, I just loved the cover, and I just read the inside of this, like, what this book is about, and I immediately fell in love. Since, like, I'm also a cat parent now, being a cat mom, reading books about cats is always so good. I mean, I relate to each and everything that the author is saying, and the tantrums and the tactics that the cats do, is like very relatable. So yeah, this is also one of my favorite books, and it's a very quick read also. It's not a very big book, but I thoroughly enjoyed this. Now the next book that I'm gonna be talking about. So one more thing. So it's not like that I just a minute, my camera is falling. So the next book that I'm gonna talk about is the book that actually got me back into reading. This one, A Woman Is No Man. So I read this book back in January, and this is the book that actually, accelerated my reading speed, and brought me back to the beautiful world of reading, because this book was like that book, which reminded me, like, it's not exactly the same, but it reminded me of Thousand Splendid Suns. And such a beautiful book. And if you love historical fiction books, then you should definitely go give this a try. I loved this to bits, so this is also something that's going in my collectibles. Now the next book that I want to talk about is a book that I'm reading currently. So I'm reading this one, Verity by Colleen Hoover. So this is also a very, I would say, not impulse, but like lately I have been gravitating towards psychological thriller books. So I thought, I've heard a lot about Colleen Hoover books, and even though I haven't read any of her books, I have watched the movie It Ends With Us. But I was like, since I want to read one of her books, so let me go with this. So this is the one that I'm reading. I have read very few pages, just this much, but I'm enjoying it so far. Like, nothing drastic has happened in this right now, but yeah, let's see how it goes. Now the next book that I want to talk about is again a book that I was so desperate to buy. I don't know, like, I was like, I need this book. If I get this book, I'm going to read this right now. That kind of an energy. But once I got this book, for some reason, I'm not able to pick this book up and read it. So yeah, this is that book, The 7-Year Slip. I have heard a lot of good reviews about this book, and that is the reason I was like, let me go and get it. But I don't know, like, do you also face this, that you get a book and then it just sits there on your bookshelf, and then you don't end up reading it only, and in your heart that it's a good book, you might also enjoy it, but somehow you don't end up reading it. So yeah, this is also one of those books, but I am pretty sure that I'll read it, like, at least by this year. So yeah. Now the next book that I want to talk about is a book which actually got me interested in psychological thriller books. So that is the very famous The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I read this book this month only. I completed this in the second week of June. I loved this book. I mean, it opened my mind to a new genre, I would say, because so I'm very comfortable reading books like The Thousand Splendid Suns, The Palace of Illusion, so historical fiction, mythology, those kind of books. But I just randomly picked this from Blossom Book House, and this was so good. I mean, this actually kept me hooked, and as I said, now I am also into psychological thrillers, so that is the reason I picked up Verity. So yeah, this is also one of the books that I would highly recommend, and this is also going in my collection. Now the next book, I don't know what to say. This is again one of those books which, like, randomly I was scrolling through my reels and I came across this book, and I found it really interesting, because this book is about book lovers and books. So I was like, let me give this a shot, and I went to Blossom Book House and I got this, and I haven't touched this book for some reason. So the book that I'm talking about is The Storied Life of AJ Fikri. I really want to read this book, but as I told you, like, I'm a mood reader. I just can't randomly just pick a book just because I've got it. I like there's a mood for everything. Like if I feel like reading mythology, so I will gravitate towards mythology books. If I feel like reading historical fiction, so like I also give breaks. Like for example, if I've already read a mythological fiction, then I will move towards a historical fiction, then I'll move towards a self-help. That's how I take breaks while reading. So let's hope like I read this book real soon, because I'm really excited to read this one. um the other book that I want to talk about is this one, We'll Prescribe You a Cat. So as I told you, the other book, She and Her Cat, which is one of my favorites, that actually inspired me to get another cat book. I was like, since I enjoyed that book so much, let me go and get this one. So I also got this from Blossom Book House. So the difference between She and Her Cat book and this book is that in She and Her Cat there are like four, I think four cats that enter lives of these four women, and and they change their lives, and in a way in the end you get to know that all these four women's lives are also somewhat connected. So that's what made it really interesting. So now this book is a collection of short stories. So it has like, I think 3 to 4 short stories about how cats can save you from a lot of things and how they change your life. So I don't know, I felt like I read two stories from this. There are, I think, 4 or 5 stories. I've just read 2 from this. The first story was too much stretched. I mean, I don't know, it was not getting over only. I mean, it was so repetitive and I felt a little bored at the end. And the second story was still better than the first one. But the thing that I didn't like about this book is that it's only from the narrator's POV, which is fine, but I don't know, the other book, She and Her Cat, it had both the POVs, the cat's POV as well as the narrator's POV, and what the girl is feeling. So it was so much more interesting, but this one was a little flat, I would say. So since it's a collection of short stories, I've just kept it like with me for now, so that if I want to read some cat stories in future, I can just pick this up. But yeah, now there's another book. So even though it will come under the category of non-fiction, but I still want to mention this because this is a really, really, really good book, and it's a very unique book, I would say. So again, I also stumbled upon this book randomly. I feel like the books that you stumble upon randomly are the ones that are like gold mines. I mean, the books that you plan, plot, like look for reviews and then go, and somehow you feel disappointed after that, and or you feel disappointed or you just not end up reading it. Like a lot of books that you already saw, I got it because of all the popularity, but then I didn't end up reading it. So the next book that I'm gonna talk about, which is again a book that I walked into a bookstore, I stumbled upon it, and I was actually going through a lot of stress when it comes to managing household work, because it was getting to me. Like every day there's a new new chore that is waiting for me. Either I have to cook, I have to clean, I have to wash laundry. Like it was too much. That is when I came across this book. It's How to Keep House While Drowning, and the title is so damn relatable. I was like, is this book really about cleaning or what? So I just picked it up, and then I got to know that it's a gentle approach to cleaning and organizing. So it's not your Marie Kondo type of books that is just pushing you to go and clean your entire cupboard, go and clean your bathroom. No, it's not like pushing or trying to say that you're a lazy person, you should go and do this. It's actually telling you that how you have to make your um, work or your house work for you instead of you working for the house. So you have to keep that in mind, that you are not lazy. There are days when you don't feel like maybe cleaning the dishes, you don't feel like doing the laundry, and it's completely fine. So you have to smartly stack your chores in a way that it doesn't feel like a chore. So this book is really, really good. I mean, everyone should pick this up, and it's a very short read. So yeah. So those were all the books that I wanted to show you all. There are few more books, but they are not here with me. They are back in Delhi. So yeah, I'll make a separate video for that. But yeah, this was my small book collection, and I want to build it in future, but let's see.